Okay, I'm working with the fabric yarn that I had mentioned on my Facebook channel and a little video I did on YouTube before. This is the first spool I'm working on. It was a little, obviously bigger than this. I'm using it on my Nifty Knitter loom. I'm doing a flat panel, which means I'm not connecting them. I'm just going back and forth. I'm alternating between doing some purl rows and some knit rows. It's still got a little give to it, which is nice. And it has got some holes through it. So I'm thinking it will be a bag that can be maybe like a grocery bag or like a beach type bag or something. And I have an idea to make some flowers and attach them in there. So I got it in my head. I'm just hoping I'll be able to execute it, excuse me, the way that I want. I would not recommend using this. Like, I think this is about an inch or so thick. I probably, or wide, sorry. I wouldn't probably use this on a DA Infinity 2 loom because the gauge is smaller, so it really makes it tight to work with. So I would definitely recommend just using it on a Nifty Knitter type thing. I also probably wouldn't recommend using it on the straight looms if the gauge is small. Your best bet is, if you have something like this that you want to use, is do your swatches first. Don't go head first into a project. Really do different swatches on different looms to see which loom you want to use it on the best. That's why I'm using this one, because it's got a bigger gauge. The pegs are long enough to be able to wrap it around. And it actually works up pretty nice. I mean, keep an eye on your tension, because otherwise it might be hard to knit it over. I mean, all I'm doing is I'm simply wrapping it just like I would normally wrap a loom around. That's all I'm doing. So it's wrapped like normal, and then knitting over it like normal. Purling is actually not that hard with this. I thought maybe it'd be a little tight or tricky. It actually purls up pretty nice if you're doing that as a stitch. So what I would say, like I said, if you get anything of this, if you're going to want to use it on a smaller gauge loom, then I would cut your strips. I mean, granted, this was pre-cut and given to me, so I had no choice kind of in the matter. But if I ever decide to do this again, after I'm done using what I got, might cut some strips smaller so that I can use it on a smaller gauge loom. But I like the way it's working up. I don't know how big the bag's going to be exactly. I'm just going for the length I want, and then I will piece together, if I can hold it right, I'll piece together the pieces to be the bag. Um, the only thing that's downside is if I want to make a bigger bag than this, I would definitely need a lot of this to make panels pieced together, then turn into a really big bag, because this is the biggest size circle loom that I have on me right now. And I know there might be some other ones out there from different companies that would be huge. Like, I'm wondering if I get like a big, huge prayer shawl one or something, if it would have wide enough, excuse me, a wide enough gauge to work well on. So, excuse me, I just wanted to show a little bit, because the picture I posted on my Facebook channel showed this as brighter than it is. It's more of a darker blue, and I'm really excited to see how this is going to work as a bag, which is what my cousin recommended. Um, right now my color combinations are doing the blue. I have, I think, a gray and another little color that I'm going to use to make the bag part. The handle, I think I'm going to make it out of the black that I have, just because I know the black will go with anything that I have. And yeah, I'm just playing around with it. It's not that bad to work with. Like I said, basically cutting different widths of strips will give you different results. Like I said, this is what I was given, so I'm working with the best I can. And like I said, the important thing is do swatches. Take a little piece, do one on each loom you have, see what you like working with the best. Like I said, when I did that on my Infinity 2 loom, it was hurting my hand to try to knit over because of the gauge being so small. So that's why I was like, no, can't use it on that as the width that it is. And I've used it on the red one before, which was fine, but I wanted to make a big panel for the bag, so that's what I'm doing. And then I will just kind of sew these together using either the same kind of fabric and closing them off, or I'll use yarn or something, and I will stitch this together to be closed for the bag. So that's all I've been working on today, and as you can see, I also turned, another little side note is I turned this, was going to be a baby blanket that I did a picture on. This was done on my Infinity 2 loom. I used about half the pegs, and then I took it off, folded it in half. I actually used some brunette baby blanket to close up the one side, and then I used tassels to close up the bottom. I've got to cut them a little too long for my taste right now, but this is my little bag, and I'm going to put a handle on it. And I thought it's kind of cute even to give somebody for a baby, to kind of put like an extra diaper in there, or just a regular bag in general. It seems like when I make bags, I've sold a couple bags at craft shows, so they seem to be kind of what people are gravitating towards. So this winter, I'm going to try to make a lot more bag type things to sell next year, and hopefully to put on my Etsy site that I have, because I have nothing on there right now. I gotta add some new items and everything. So that's kind of my focus. So be forewarned that I will be posting updated things on my Etsy site. Once I get a few more cool items on there, you might see this on there. You might see this bag when it's done on there. I don't know yet. But this is, like I said, I call it like a mini baby bag. I'm trying to show how back it was. And all I did was I made it as a flat panel. And I really like that when I use the brunette baby blank yarn, it doesn't look totally obvious that I use that type of yarn. And I had white left over, so that's why I did that. So if you're going to do something like that and use a different yarn, just kind of make sure, like with this being, a light blue and white, I was able to get away with that. Like I said, I closed it off with my tassels, or fringe, whatever you want to call it. But I want to cut them, I think, a little shorter. I'm not sure. I'm going to do the handle first and see how it looks on like my shoulder to get an idea if I want them shorter or not. Because I don't want to make everything, I'm 5'2", so I don't want to make everything designed for a 5'2" woman. If some people that are like 6 foot tall want to use this, they might like the longer tassels. I don't know. I'm not a fashion expert. I'm just a loom knitter. So that's what I'm working on. I got to finish the handle on that one, get this one down the way I want, figure out exactly how I'm going to close it off, if I'm going to have enough of this blue to sew up the one side, or what I'm going to do. I'll know once I get it done. I definitely go with the flow. When I loom knit, I've had some requests to try to write some patterns, and I'm going to say it's tricky. I'm a writer, but I'm more of a creative writer, not necessarily a technical pattern writer, so it's taking me a little longer to figure out getting the words right for it on a pattern. I don't usually follow patterns and everything, but I'm trying. So anybody that has requested me to try to write a pattern for some of my things, bear with me. I'm trying to figure it out. It just takes a little time. So that's what's going on, and feel free to share your projects down below on my YouTube channel, or because I know I'll be posting this on Facebook, or sharing it, I should say, on my Facebook wall. Post things that you're working on. I would love to see it, just to get ideas of things people are doing, and like I said, it's always fun because I see stuff that people post, and it's like, ooh, I want to try that, and I just kind of go with the flow and see if I can do it, and then I try to share how to do it if I can. Don't be afraid to try different things. I mean, I'm actually wanting to get some ribbon, if I can find ones that are kind of a sturdier ribbon, and try loom knitting with that as well, to see how that would look. So I'm hoping, with this, before I forget, I wouldn't do an I-cord stitch with this width one. I tried that. It was really too tight to do even an I-cord stitch. So I'm figuring out how I'm going to do the handle. I'm actually thinking about doing some finger knitting with it instead and see how that works. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but okay, I can show you with this yarn. Like the finger knitting is all you do is you're gonna wrap it. Oh, excuse me. You can kind of make your slip knot a little bit, so it's on your finger. And then if you want to finger knit, that's how I think I'm going to do the handle for a couple of the bags. Is you use your fingers and you wrap as many fingers as you want the handle to be, like 4, 3, whatever. But I normally do 2. And then when you wrap it, you're just going to figure 8 it around, and then you go up and over. And it's a little soft yarn, it's going to make it a little hard. And then you just pull it. And this is something you can teach kids to do. I mean, I'm just figure 8ing it, boom, boom, kind of thing. And it kind of creates almost like the I-cord stitch that you would see. And like I said, you can use other fingers if you wanted, and just go back and forth. So if you don't have a loom nearby, and you're someplace, you can figure out these and turn them into something. But I'm thinking this is what I might have to do. I'm just trying to get down for it to show you what it looks like. And that's just simple finger knitting. I might do that with the fabric to see if that makes the kind of handle I want. So if you're not experienced with loom knitting, or if you're looking for a different way to loom knit in a sense, keep in mind that your fingers can be your pegs as well. So you don't necessarily have to buy stuff. Okay, so that's what I'm working on, and I hope everyone's having a great day.